Oh my gosh. Okay, so it is 8:31 Central Time. For Julie, it's like 6:31. Unfortunately for her, but fortunately for the rest of us, we are in other parts of the country and do not have to do a 6 a.m. start time. Welcome to all of our Texas folks and everyone beyond Texas. This morning, we have a lot of our people uh, in office. So, right next door to me is Stu, and you might know him as Chris Stuart, and he's live here in Austin, which is exciting. And then we have Julie, who is on Zoom, which is also exciting. So, what we're going to do today, we're going to skip a lot of the stuff we do at the beginning because we want to make sure that we maximize and optimize our time with these folks. Julie's going to start us off. There's some fun stuff happening in July that Julie's going to talk about. And then Julie's going to introduce Stu. And then I'm not going to come on until the very end. And I'm going to do a couple announcements. And it'll be really awesome. I can't believe it, but we finished week 25 already of this year. So we are moving fast. With that, Julie, what's happening in July? What's going on?
Okay, I'm going to share my screen, even though I know everybody wants to see my face mostly at this time in the morning. So we're pretty excited. Who here, just out of curiosity, heard about the place day that we did in Washington, D.C., and then immediately grew envious? Did anybody else? I can't see everybody, but I'm assuming that you're all waving your hands like, yeah, we're jealous, we're angry, we want one. So guess what? We decided that we want to come to Dallas. So we are having an event just for our place partners. It's in Dallas, Texas, which means I don't know a lot about Texas, but I have had to drive through it a couple of times. Like, let's not revisit that. But I do know that Dallas is kind of in the middle and you can get there in about 2 hours from just about anywhere. Does that sound right?
8 hours for us, Julie. 8 hours. Yeah.
No, Dallas is 2 hours from Dallas, so it's like 4 hours.
Okay, well, one time I had to drive to Houston. It was like 2 hours in the rain. I don't do rain either. My point here is that it's really, really close. And so we're hoping that you all will commit to going. So it's a one-day event. I'm going to actually throw up a QR code so that you can register. It's a one-day event. It's all about you, our place agents, right? We want you to come in, here's some of the goodies, get entertained. I promise it'll be a good time. You'll get to network with other Texas agents. We put a lot of time and energy into this. We love spending time with y'all. It's kind of like when we do our Built How events. If anybody's been to a Built How event and we have place day ahead of that, it's very similar to that structure. So we'll have a breakout for operations. We'll have stuff just for our agents. It's a ton of fun. And Brian Gubernick will be there. I know everybody loves Brian. I will also be there. You're going to see Olivia, Bob Stewart. Like, guys, we get out there and we get into it. So I want to invite all of you to be there. I promise it'll be a really good investment of your time. Why should you go? Because we're going to talk about all of the stuff that makes place, right? So we're going to be smack dab in the middle of a really big productivity competition, right? And so this will be a good day to get in there and maybe learn a little bit more about how we really leverage open houses and some of the tools and tricks you can use to go get more appointments. We're going to talk about brevity. Why? Because it's the core of everything that we do, right? It's literally everything that we do at Place. For our operations folks, there's a breakout. We're going to talk about operations, and you're going to be with like-minded people in your market, which I think is really exciting. And then let's just be real. You get to network with the best. I thought they meant me when they said that, but they really meant y'all. So see how I said y'all? That's called mirror and matching. And you might even learn how to do that on Place Day. So it's July 16th, which means I believe in Dallas, it should be only about 147 degrees. When did Dallas get so hot? Has it always been like that? All right. Or there could be a tornado. We don't know, Dallas, right? So it's going to be July 16th from 9 to 4. Please mark your calendars. You're probably all wondering, but Julie, such an exciting day. How much does it cost? Who's wondering? Okay, I can only see one person, and the good news is that they're wondering. So the good news is for you all, Place Day is 100% free. We want you to get there. We want you to meet each other, pour into each other, get what you need out of this event. And so I'm going to leave this QR code up for just a minute. I do have another special day that I need to tell our operators about. So do we have some operators on the call, team owners? Of course we do. So the day before, on July 15th, we're holding a very special, it's a team mastermind. It's a team mastermind for our operators that are doing 15 million or more. So they lead a team that does 15 million or more. I mean, that's all of you. And so you're invited. If you want to go, I need you to email events@place.com. Events@place.com. There is a cost to that. It's pretty negligible. And here's what's exciting. If Adelina knows another team owner that would be a really good partner for us, if she brings them, she can go for free. Now I said Adelina, but that actually applies to all of you. So QR code is up here. Seating, it is limited. Texas is huge. Guys, this will sell out. So please, please, please register. And then if for whatever reason you change your mind, please make room for somebody else to go. So I'm going to stop and ask if, are there any questions about Place Day and who's going? Oh, I see some hands up. Good. That makes me happy. I know Michael Wilson's growing his beard out just for this day. Cool, cool,
I've
cool.
got a question, Julie.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So maybe an objection that might come up is it is in the middle of the summer challenge and everyone's working so hard, and taking a whole day off sounds like a lot. What would you say to that?
Well, I think we're at an interesting time in the challenge where it hasn't started yet, and we could literally take this weekend and map out what are my work days going to be. Right, y'all? I know you're not working 4th of July. Many of you probably won't work the 5th of July. And by the way, that's totally fine. You should do that. I think you mark one of these as those days that I'm just not going to be committed to making one of my 5,000 dial days, or I'm not doing an open house that day. And so if you know there's roughly 44 work days in a 2-month time frame, you're only going to be working, say, 38 of them. You just plan accordingly for those 38 days. So it's actually the perfect time to announce it so that you can be proactive in your approach and plan to be all in on that day. There's really no objections that you just can't figure out with enough time. All right, I'll see you guys in July, or I'll see y'all in July. All right, so we're going to bring up somebody very special. He's in person for some of you. He's in Zoom for a lot of us. No matter how you get him, you're going to love him. The president of Place, please help me give a warm welcome to the one and only Chris Stuart. Hopefully he's listening. He's up.
I think so. We're close. It's the standing ovation that's slowing us down.
Okay, on the count of 3, let's all just yell Stu. Are you guys ready? Especially in the classroom. We need you out there. Actually, I feel like there's somebody there doing tech. Like someone is there running IT right now, and that's what's happening. Can they hear us in the classroom?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Julie, for that gracious introduction.
Okay, see you later.
Oh, hold on one second. Let me do the audio.
Okay.
Is Chris in Austin, Texas?
I am, Deldy. You should have come up.
Get there. Hey, I have a grandbaby there. I may just drive up today.
What's up here? Let me grab this over here. Okay, so let me put this back.
So what are you guys most excited about this month? Chris, just feel free to interrupt me. I don't do well with silence.
No, this is good, Julie.
What are y'all most excited about for July?
4th of July weekend.
Okay, that's a good way to start the month.
Yeah.
Sure, you can share the audio.
Please, not everybody at once. Please.
The July challenge.
Who said that? Aaron? Nice. I feel like what Aaron just said is he's going to do the July-August challenge in July.
I love it.
All right. All right, everybody.
All right,
put
cool.
your hands
Julie,
together.
Julie, you're the best. Thank you so
All right,
much.
see you later.
Let's give Julie a big round of applause. How about that? All right, so who's going to play stay in Dallas? No one raised their hand here. Is no one going? It's that far? You just registered? Awesome. Thank you. All right. So we're going to get going. I'm going to do my best, team on the Zoom. I'm going to do my very best to stand in front of this camera so you can see me. Otherwise, yeah. Otherwise, I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm going to do my best. Okay. So let's get in the, see, I'm already off camera. Look at that. Kind of like a caged animal. I had this crazy, like, Austin special coffee this morning, Cafe Medici. What the hell? Like, there's something in that stuff. I am bouncing off the walls already. Okay, so I'm super excited to be with you, and I want to cover two things this morning. I want to cover how to develop a really strong and resilient mindset. Okay, and then I'm going to talk about how a great mindset can help us with our buyers. All right. So before I start, who's feeling some anxiousness right now? Some anxiousness, some uncertainty, maybe some questions about the market. I assume those of you not raising your hand, but that are smiling, is that a yes? Feeling some anxiousness? Yeah. All right. All right. So we're going to talk about that. And I want to just encourage all of us. I know the temptation is to be doing a million things right now. We're on our laptops, we're on our phones, we're doing all these things. I would just encourage us all to think we're here for a reason, right? We're here right now in this moment for a reason. So maybe there's something that you take away from the next 20, 25 minutes together that propels you forward just today, or maybe the rest of the month or the rest of the year. So just be here, right? You deserve it. You've earned it, right? To be here and be in the moment. So let's just kind of take a breath. Take a breath because we're going to make an exercise out of this. All right. I'm going to share what I do to develop my own mindset and keep it strong, and some routines that I do every single day to make myself invincible. This is my ritual of invincibility. It's my ROI. It ensures that the time that I spend every day, I get a return out of it. Okay. So one thing that I do, and I've shared this with many of you, one thing that I do, I've been doing this for 15 years. This is my daily mindset journal and success routine. How many of you have a morning routine? Okay. All right, great. I might ask you to share some of what you do every single day with us. Okay. So we can all learn together. So here's the first thing that I do. Okay. And before I get started, I want all you take out your notes. Or if you're taking notes on your phone, that's cool. I just ask that you be present, be in the moment right here. Don't multitask. And I want you to write down that primary source of anxiousness that you have right now. For those of you that raised your hand and that were honest about your anxiousness. And here's the neat thing. We all have it. And sometimes it's based on things that are happening that are good to us. Sometimes like, man, things are going so well. I'm afraid the other shoe's going to drop. What's going to happen when all this good stuff stop happening, right? So sometimes anxiousness is from a good place. So I want you to write that down. What is that source of anxiousness for you? Then I want you to write down, what is it specifically that you're doing to address the way that you feel about that? Okay, just hold that. Okay, and just hold that. And so specifically what I'm talking about is, what am I doing every single morning to develop a resilient mindset, my ritual of invincibility, so that I can address the anxiousness in my life? And hopefully some of this, just one piece of it, might be a good takeaway. Okay, so here's the first thing that I do. Here's the very, very first thing that I do. I fire up some great music. Fire up some great music. Can we hear that? I invoke that emotion. Oh, it's this song. You know why I chose this song this morning? I got up at 4 o'clock this morning. Do my ritual of invincibility. Chose this song because I cried myself to sleep last night. Cried myself to sleep. You know why? My son's best friend His father is one of my very best friends. Got drafted number 16 in the NBA draft last night. I celebrated on FaceTime with his father last night. It was our eyes. Tell you how much work that family put into that child. I just see, I invoke that emotion. See, invoke that emotion every single day. Creates this unstoppable will and mindset in what I'm doing. You need to fire something up every single day that invokes that emotion in you. For me, it's music. It could be prayer. It could be talking to a family member. It could be listening to a faith-based podcast or reading the word. Whatever invokes that emotion in you. You need to go grab that. For me, it was this song this morning. Then I started reading and writing in my journal. So tears are my joyful tears. Okay? Joyful tears. So I'm going to go through now what I do in that journal. Here's what I do. So emotional right now because I feel like it's amazing. It's amazing. So here's what I do. First thing I do is, this is in this journal. I have 3 readings in this journal. I read The If Poem by Rudyard Kipling. I read Seeds of Success by Audrey Dino. And I have a self-confidence journal that I read. Anyone who wants this journal, you just let me know. You reach out to us. Then I write 3 things in the journal every single day. I've been doing this for 15 years. I've not missed a single day doing this journal since June 18th of last year. In fact, some of the people on this call right now
Chris,
can attest.
hey Chris, can you have them turn down the music just a little bit?
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Yeah. Sorry, I got carried away. So I've been doing this journal every single day since June 18th of last year. Why? Because I made a commitment to people that I would do it. So I do it every day, and I text them that I did it. And they committed to me that they would do it every day, but most don't. But that's okay, because this is my commitment, not theirs. So it's okay if they miss their commitment, but it's not okay if I miss my commitment. So I do it every day as a model for them, as encouragement. Some of the people on this call right now, Del D, are supposed to be doing it every day, and you're not, Del D, so I'm going to throw you on the spot.
Thank you for throwing me under the bus. You're right.
Oh. Okay, sorry. I'll pause the music. I wanted the music to go while I was sharing what I do, because it's kind of. I know. All right. So I do my daily readings. I write 10 things that I'm grateful for. And this morning it was all about the friendship that I have with the McCains and Jared and my son and all the time we spent together, you know. Then I write down 3 things that made me happy in the last 24 hours. And I'm crying again because it was a life-changing thing for our whole, extended family. It's so cool. Just so cool. Still just so emotional about it, honestly. Then I write 25 times what I'm looking to attract in terms of earning. And since I joined Place, I went away from what I'm trying to earn personally. And now I write every single day the value that I want to create for all of us in terms of Place and the company we're building together. So that's what I do every single morning. I listen to music, I write in my journal, and then here's what I do. Outside of my journal, I write the affirmations of what I want to become. Okay, what do I want to become? And this is one thing that I really encourage all of us to think about more intentionally is not so much what we want to do or accomplish. Who do we need to be to deserve? And what do we need to become? And how do we need to show up to achieve the things that we want to have? Does that make sense? So I'm very intentional about the things that I need to be, who I need to become, how I need to show up for others. And then I have the faith and trust that the things that I want to achieve, the things that I want to do will follow that, who I want to become. And then the next thing is, and these are things that I write out or I read aloud or I reflect in my journal. And these types of affirmations really kind of ground me then in this emotion that I've created for myself and create that invincibility that I believe I need to go and conquer the day and deal with whatever is in front of us. And for me personally, these are some of the things that I feel like hold me back. And so I encourage you to think about what is it that's holding you back and look down on that, on what you wrote on that piece of paper. What is it specifically that is creating this anxiousness for you? And is that anxiousness rooted in any of these things? Sometimes I talk to people that I coach and I ask them about their anxiousness and they're just telling themselves the wrong stories. They're just making things up, you know? And so that's why these things are here. First of all, I'm detached from the past. How much of our anxiousness is rooted in things that happened to us in the past? One of the agents, place agents, great agent that I'm coaching right now. I say coaching, I'm regularly interacting. I'm sharing my daily accountabilities. I'm sending him my journal. I'm inspiring him to do some of his own techniques, okay? But that's one of his biggest sources of anxiousness. Stu, every time something good happens in my life, something bad happens. So he's associating his success with the bad things that have happened to him. And I said, hey, brother, bad things always happen. The bad things that happen have nothing to do with the good things that are happening. Two totally unrelated things. So I'm detached from the past. I'm inspired by contribution. I'm inspired to contribute to others. That's the only thing I want to do. I really don't care that much about what I have, what I want to do, what I want to accumulate. I just trust that if I pour into others, great things are going to happen. My needs will be taken care of. So I have no anxiousness about the things that I want to do or the things that I don't have. I just want to be programmed to serve others. Just contribute. That's me. This is my technique. Okay. I am grounded in truth. If you're telling yourself false stories, you're basically sabotaging your mindset. And you're creating a sphere of anxiousness that is absolutely not rooted in anything other than your imagination. I am measured by action and the value that you create for others. You're not measured by your bank account. So the activities that you commit to for the July and August challenge are intended to help your bank account. Okay? Don't get me wrong. That's why we're all doing this, suffering through the toil of how hard this job is. Okay? But the contribution is to the customers that you're working with to help make great real estate decisions. That's who you're contributing to. And if you do enough of that, your bank account will reflect it. So we have to contribute and create value for others. And then finally, I'm fueled by accountability. Okay. I will tell you right now that if you'll just open yourself up to be vulnerable, to be accountable to someone else other than yourself, your results will 10x. And a lot of this anxiousness that you have will go away. Why? Because the person that you're sharing your accountability with, they want to pick some of it up for you. Trust me, they do. They want the people around you, particularly because you're here at Place, they want to pick some of this up from you. Okay? You might not believe that, but that's the truth. Okay? And so here's what I would say, because I can imagine what many of you are thinking. Stu, I don't have time to do this. I don't have time. I would say this. You don't have time not to do this. You don't have time not to develop a resilient mindset. Now, do you need to play music and do the readings and the journaling? Not necessarily. But if you don't have some kind of routine today to develop a more resilient, unstoppable, invincible mindset, and this anxiousness is constantly showing up in every part of your day, you can't afford not to do this. Okay? And many of us have so much anxiousness and uncertainty because we think we can figure it out ourselves. Okay. We think we can figure it out ourselves. And the reality is there are other people that want to pick this up and help you with it, but you got to reach out. All right. You got to reach out and leverage your circle. Okay. So I want you to go back to that, your notes right now. I want you to go back to your notes and assign yourself some takeaway that you're going to do to deal with the actual anxiousness that you feel. What is it? And what are you going to do to combat it? And I know this is deep, but I'll put anyone on the spot here that wants to share. What is your source of anxiousness and what are you going to do about it? Anyone want to share? Maybe someone on the Zoom.
I'll share what I wrote down. This is Elizabeth in Dallas.
Oh, awesome, Elizabeth. Thank you.
I put, it's a bold law, which says focus on the plan, not the problem. So that's how I keep myself grounded.
I love that. That's awesome. Anyone else?
My takeaway was stay rooted in the truth with all the complexities of emotions around everything. It's so easy for me to create stories of what I think is happening or what I am feeling like could be happening instead of just getting right down to it, getting to like the actual truth and not creating stories around it that create my anxiety.
Yes, I love that. I love that, Adelina. That's big. Okay, great. Thanks for sharing, Elizabeth and Adelina. So let's transition this discussion into how we're working with our buyers. So how many of you, show of hands, or maybe hands on the Zoom, wrote down in part that some of your anxiousness is the marketplace and working with buyers and getting buyers off the fence and the listings are growing and all of that sort of thing? Anybody? Couple of people? Okay. All right. So then, in other words, everyone else's anxiousness has nothing to do with the professional side of your journey. It's personal. Is that fair? Okay, that's cool. All right, awesome. So then for those, so two things. For those of you that feel some anxiousness around working with our buyers, creating more urgency, getting them off the fence, how am I talking to them about the marketplace and the timing? Let's address that. And then for everyone else, think about, just continue to reflect on, what am I doing on the personal aspects of my anxiousness and how am I developing that resilient mindset? So here's the one thing I want to ask. If I'm your customer, I'm your buyer, and I'm working and interviewing multiple agents, what is the one thing, I'm just going to pose this hypothetical, what is the one thing that you're going to do for me that these other agents I'm talking to aren't going to do? What's the answer? Anyone? I could be preparing to buy a house in Austin. You just don't know. So I'm looking for potentially an agent here.
Data and transparency.
Transparency and data. Okay. What else? What is the answer you think most of our buyers hear actually from agents? Not you necessarily, but what do most agents say? What is the one thing you're going to do, John, better than the other agents I'm talking to?
I'm going to work harder than everybody else.
I'm going to work harder. Yeah, I'm going to work harder. What about service? Service is my number one thing. Anyone use that response? I hear that a lot. And I think our buyers hear that a lot as well. Okay. So I want to just provide kind of a contrast. Okay. Because it's not service that we're providing, particularly in this new market that we're going into. With the commission changes and all the things that our buyers are going to expect from us, it's not service. And I'm going to give you a few examples inside of individual industries where there's a difference between the people that provide service and the people that provide skill. Because our differentiation is skill, okay? But we have to be prepared to articulate that, because remember, nothing matters unless we make it matter. And if most of your peers, the other agents, are saying, I provide the best service, then that's sort of kind of the routine that a lot of buyers get into in terms of how they're evaluating your value, okay? So here's some quick examples. The airline industry. The flight attendants, see, they're in the service sector. the pilot in the skill sector? Okay. How about the hotel industry, hospitality? The concierge, service. The maintenance engineers, skill. I don't even see the maintenance engineers, right? They're behind the scenes, making sure the air conditioning and water and all that sort of thing works. How about medicine? Front desk staff, service. The nurses and physicians, skill. How about retail? The person helping us find the suit, they're in the service business. The tailor, they're in the skill business. So the question is, when someone asks you, particularly now, this new market that we're going into, and in Texas, as our listings inventory continues to rise, you got to think about, I'm trying to educate motivated buyers as to why buying now makes sense and why not buying now could hurt them later. Is that a fair assessment of what you're trying to do? So then let me ask you this. What does your service have to do with helping them with that decision? Not much. Not much, right? It's more of your skill and your services. So here's what I want to propose. And I want you to write this down right now. Just think about your own value, and you probably won't have all of your thoughts completely flushed out right now this morning, but this is an exercise, and hopefully all the operators on the call can facilitate some of these discussions in the coming weeks on our Power Up. Your value is a combination of your service, of course, but it's also the services that your relationships, your network, your experience, your place team can introduce those customers to. Your electricians, your roofers, your designers, the vendor network that you have that will help that person make a great real estate decision, and then your skills. So then what you need to assess is how much of your value proposition is in each. How much of it is just service versus services versus your skill, and then determine how am I articulating that? Does that make sense? How am I articulating these different things based on the unique situation of my buyer and which of these three levers I need to pull more specifically, okay? So let's look at each one of them and just take some notes, okay? So here's what I want you to ask yourself. What are the most valuable aspects of the personal service I provide to my buyers? Write some of these things down in your notes. And again, you won't have all this flushed out, and hopefully in the coming days and weeks in the power-ups, we can talk about this and dialogue on it. Here's a couple of thoughts that I had. If I'm responding to a buyer, my personal service says that I promise to coordinate with our strategic lending partner to outline all of your available options so that we strengthen your offering position. We want to turn you into a cash buyer, eliminate contingencies, and close quickly. That's a service that you could provide, is it not? You're strategizing with your lending partner, not to get a pre-approval, but to strengthen your strategic offering position. That's a great service. What about this? I will ensure that I exhaust all potential options for you, both on market and off market, through my relationships and reputation in the market as a leading player among the top producing agents in the market. That's a great service, isn't it? How many of your buyers even know that that's what you do? Give you an exhaustive opportunity to see all the off-market properties, and I'm going to go door knock to find things that aren't even listed yet. I guarantee you, if I were to interview the last 10 buyers that you ran a consultation with, you didn't talk about that. These are great services. They're great, great services, but nothing matters unless we make it matter. Here's the next thing. Services. What are the most valuable services that I provide to my buyers? And you should distinguish between the services in the home search and selection process different than post-closing. Because once they own the home, there are any number of services that you can provide that help them make homeownership easier, help them maximize their equity, help them save money, refinancing, lowering their homeowner's insurance, appealing their property taxes. But again, if they don't know that those services are in your network and when and how you present them, we've missed that opportunity. So here's one that I wrote down. I will ensure after you've enjoyed your new home that you have access to me and my team for anything that you may need down the road to help you save money and all of the maintenance things that you need to be aware of so that we maximize your equity for as long as you keep this property. But again, if they don't understand that as part of your buyer consultation, we're missing that opportunity. And finally, the skills. This is a big one that I think we're missing. And I think this will be the difference between all of you as place agents showing up as valuable to the agents as we enter into this new buyer broker agreement environment. Okay. Nothing matters unless we make it matter. So you need to ask yourself, what skills are most valuable to my buyers? And again, distinguish. The search and selection process is totally different than the negotiation process, totally different than the post-closing process. And you've got skills that are very valuable to them at each step of the way. So we just need to key in, bless you, on what those are. I wrote a couple down here. My skills. If I were responding to a buyer, why should I use you? I will ensure that I leverage every available relationship in the entire market to obtain as much information as possible about every home you're interested in writing an offer to determine what our best negotiating approach and leverage is. In other words, I'm going to call the listing agents. I'm going to call the other agents that have previewed the property. I'm going to talk with the best negotiators in my team to understand exactly how we approach this, and we'll strategize before we write. Here's another one. I will always be available to you and your family to discuss the different options available in terms of refinancing, any remodeling or renovation you may want to do, and anything else that you need to help maximize the decisions you're making about improving the property so you can maximize your equity. What's my skill? Valuation. I really understand the market. Want to make sure you don't over improve. Okay. But again, nothing matters unless we make it matter. So to the operators, I would encourage all of us to let's dialogue and roundtable. How am I articulating my service? How am I articulating my services? And then how am I articulating my skill? And recognizing, particularly with our buyers, these things come in and out based on where we are in that relationship. Okay. So in closing, I just want to encourage all of us. Let's, if we don't have it already today, develop some small routine that creates this invincibility as you start your day, recognizing this anxiousness is not going away, right? It's just part of human nature, like the bad things that happen. So the best thing we can do is prepare that resiliency. So when it does happen, we're invincible. All right. So thank you so much, Adelina. That's the end unless, yeah, thank you.
Oh, I love that. I love that. You know,
I wasn't watching the chat, Adelina, so I don't know if there was anything.
oh no, you're good. You're good. You covered everything. It's really powerful for the second half of the year. And for everyone on Zoom, the 63 people on Zoom, high five. And everyone in the room, double high five. I've got 3 announcements for you. Number 1, Tuesday, July 16th.
Oh, hold on one second, Adelina. Let me stop sharing so they can see you. Sorry.
There we go. It's all good. Tuesday, July 16th, Place Day in Dallas. I know Elizabeth has a guest room open. I bet there's other people in Dallas. What a fabulous way to ensure that you have great relationships face to face. We always say we're better face to face. This is your opportunity for face to face. Number 2 announcement. Who can guess what the second highest expired day of the year is? Oh my gosh. You know it. You know, I know some of you, I can sense your anxiety. Go back to like what Chris taught us about anxiety, right? Go back to the truth. The truth is that June 30th is the second most written expiration date on real estate listing contracts. So July 1st is our second biggest opportunity of the year. And you know what? If you skipped January 1st because it was a holiday, July 1st isn't a holiday. In fact, it's a Monday. So take advantage of that. That could be such a great opportunity to get a lot of work out of the way. Third announcement for you. We don't have a Texas Power Up next week because it is the 4th of July and I would like to have off and I would like for you to have off. And with that, we're going to be back July 11th. And I think it's a perfect topic to talk about service, services, and skill. Just, it's not what we do, it's how we communicate what we do. Nothing matters unless we make it matter. I think it's a brilliant topic with the August changes coming up. So let's focus on that for July 11th. We will see everyone back. You guys are awesome. Thanks for hanging out with us. And we'll see everybody July 11th and maybe July 16th. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Bye.
Yeah, you bet. Stu